Hello, my name is Brianna Janssen Sánchez from the University of Iowa, and I will be presenting a project entitled Understanding Language Learners' Interaction During SCMC, Synchronous Computer-Mediated Communication. The purpose of this research project was to explore learners' interactions in the L2 and how their immediate social environment, especially their interlocutor and the computer, can have an impact on their interactions. I will discuss 3 research questions in this presentation today. The first question is, what interactional strategies are present in pair discussion during an SCMC opinion exchange task? And what do these strategies look like, and what is their purpose in the task? Research question 2 aims to explore how learners explain their interaction in pair discussion during an SCMC opinion exchange task. The final research question is, do participants use the computer, for example, online dictionary, online translators, or other websites, while completing an SCMC opinion exchange task in the L2 to aid in interaction? If so, what does this look like? The theoretical background from this study comes from the sociocultural theory. This theory states that learners progress in language knowledge and skills through social interactions with other speakers of the L2 and the ZPD. With regards to computer use during sociocultural tasks in the L2, Cardenas-Claros and Gruba say that the computer can be used strategically to assist learners in repairing breakdowns and performing language tasks. The use of help options may fill the gap between what learners can do on their own and what they can do after usefully interacting with help options. Finally, since opinion exchange and decision-making tasks closely resemble natural target language interactional situations, they may seem more realistic for students and may be a good environment for studying L2 learner social interaction. The participants for this study were 16 intermediate Spanish language learners. Pairs of learners participated in opinion exchange tasks with the decision-making phase on controversial social topics including university athletics and special treatment, childhood obesity and physical activity, and social problems in the community. They participated in a 45-minute chat via Blackboard Collaborate Instant Messenger, and a text copy of their chat was saved and sent to the researcher. Then, the researcher inserted questions into the documents for the simulated recall written reports and sent them back to the students the next day. Finally, students typed their responses to the simulated recall questions and sent the document back to the researcher. The data were analyzed in terms of interactional strategies displayed and were coded based on Darhauer's 2002 research findings of interactional features in learner SCMC chat from a sociocultural perspective. The simulated recall data were analyzed and coded for recurring themes and responses. Research questions 1 and 2 will be presented together in the following slides where I explain the interactional strategies found in the data, give examples, and explain the participants' perspective on their use. Please also note that the chat transcripts of the examples were reproduced exactly as the students wrote them, including errors. The first interactional feature found in the data is intersubjectivity, which can be described as a shared orientation or perspective on a communicative task. Some terms commonly used by the participants to express this type of shared orientation or perspective are de acuerdo, I agree, pienso lo mismo, I think the same thing, creo también, I believe so too, and sí, yes. Here is one example of an instance of intersubjectivity from the data. Student A says, "You think that the children should participate in many activities because I am an artist." And student B responds, "Yes, I agree. They should participate in sports and arts equally." When students were asked what their motivations were for expressing shared perspective with their partner during the chats, they responded in one of 2 ways. The first response was to emphasize agreement with their partner. One participant said, "I wanted to emphasize the fact that I strongly agree with B's statement about sports and special treatment." The other perspective was that intersubjectivity was established when showing personal feelings. When I agreed and said, sí, es muy triste, yes, it is very sad, I wanted to show my personal feelings toward the problem of unemployment. The second interactional strategy found in the data is off-task discussion, or when the participants abandon the assigned topic for a topic of participants' choosing. One example below describes how, during a conversation about sports in gym class and children's participation, they began talking about Lollapalooza and this year's lineup. Also evident as an interactional strategy was use of humor or teasing or joking with each other. In one conversation expressing use of humor, student A says, "One social problem is that tickets for festivals like this are very expensive. It's a huge problem." Student B responds, "Yes, it's probably the biggest social problem in the whole world, haha, but it actually is a problem." Student A responds, "Yes, lol, do you know a problem?" And student B says, "The cost of college is also a very big problem." When asked for personal perspectives on use of humor and off-task topic discussion as interactional strategies, participants responded that they used the off-task internet use was what prompted the inclusion of the topic in the task. Use of humor was also used to make the partner feel good or happy, or to be funny, exaggerate, or make the task more fun. Many students use greetings and polite formulas to represent social cohesiveness, interactional speech acts that reflect everyday social encounters. Some polite formulas are translated as good, good idea, that's a good answer, in my opinion, and you, in your opinion? Participants responded that they used polite formulas for different reasons. The first reason was to gauge partners' thoughts on an issue. The next reason was to compliment a partner. One participant said, "When I said sí, muy bien, yes, very good, I was commenting on my partner's large response towards girls' sports. I really liked what she said, so I wanted to make it clear by rewarding her in this way. I thought it was a good way to respond back at the time." The last perspective on use of polite formulas to represent social cohesiveness was to acknowledge that something is an opinion and may not be agreed upon by all. One participant made it clear that what they said was just their opinion, and even though that's what he believed, many others may not agree. The next strategy prevalent in the chat discourse was the use of English. English was used in the chats normally only at the word or phrase level, such as in the following examples. "I heard that the highest debt in English, in the United States is of student loans, also in English, and it's very, very high." Athletes means athletes in English, correct? "I think that the poverty rate is easier, how do you say fix in English, than the drug addiction, and you?" Participants commented on their use of English in the following ways. First, they said they used English because they didn't know how to say a word in the L2. Another reason was to keep the conversation flowing and not interrupt. One participant said, "I felt that if I took the time to look it up, it would ruin the conversation flow that we were having." The final reason is a bit different, in that the participants explained that they used English because they didn't know if their partner would know the word. One participant even said, "I used Google Translate to find the word, so I didn't think my partner would know what it meant either." The final interactional strategies reflect relationship building. These strategies include asking personal questions or making comments relating the topic to real life. One participant said, "I agree. My major is economics, and I think we have a high rate of unemployment." Then student B responded, "Your major is economics? That's interesting." In the second example, student A asks, "You are an athlete here, right?" Student B responds, "Yes, track and field." Then student A responds, "Great. Did you receive special treatment?" Participants also view relationship building strategies with the purpose of relating the topic to real life. Participants felt that they were able to make the conversation more valuable and gain more perspective about the topics. Finally, research question 3 asked about the computer use during the chat activity. All but one participant reported using the internet during the chat. The person that responded that they did not said that because they thought the task was very overwhelming, that they didn't have time, and they couldn't be distracted to use it. The computer was used for both on and off task purposes. On-task uses of the computer included using a translator or a dictionary, such as Word Reference, Google Translate, and SpanishDict.com. To conclude, based on the exploration of interactional strategies found in the chat data from this study, as well as the learners' perspectives, it is evident that learners are conscious of their social world, their interlocutor, and the computer when they participate in opinion exchange tasks in SCMC. This is evident by the stimulated recall comments on how partners and the internet actually influence learners' interaction during the task. Finally, this study shows that SCMC is a place for real social communication in the target language, where learners both participate in language production and interactional practice. Thank you for listening. I look forward to your comments and questions in the discussion section.